Hey, now I can say Happy Tuesday. Said it a little early on Sunday night, but that's okay. Hey, Happy Tuesday. How are you? Are you ready? Are you ready? We get 20 minutes together today. I want to talk. I want to see that we're live in this group. Okay, good. There we are. I want to talk to you today about anxious horse solutions. Anxious horse solutions. I see this all the time in groups. Hold on. Artie! Leave it! Leave it! And if he doesn't leave it, at least I won't have to hear about it anymore. Okay, so I want to talk about anxious horse solutions because I see this all the time in Facebook groups. I see people asking for calming solutions. They want supplements. They want treatments for when they take their horse places. They want all kinds of solutions. They want their horses to not be buddy sour. They want calmness. They want to be able to go have fun with their horse and not have their horse be a fucking crazy psycho because they're jumping out of their skin the whole time. And I mean, I feel that. I feel for people with that situation. I've been in that situation. I feel that. So how do we solve this problem? Let me tell you, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, a supplement's not going to do shit, okay? It might make a difference, but it's not a solution. This is a, okay, we've taken the edge off, and we can investigate a little bit more, but it's not the end-all, be-all. We aren't, especially when we're talking about more natural solutions, we're not in a position where we can do this long-term because we're going to need more because we're covering up the problem. Whenever, whether it's you or your horse, whenever we have anxiety, the anxiety isn't the problem, friends. It's not the problem. That's the alarm bell. That is the alarm bell, not the problem. So in order to have a solution for anxiety, we have to be able to investigate, use intuitive assessment strategies to be able to find the actual problem and solve it. Sometimes anxiety truly is a nutritional deficiency, a mineral deficiency, in which case we supply the mineral. Problem solved. Problem solved. And when that's the case, it is just like that. It is that quick. Usually in those cases, we're going to do some kind of loading dose because there is a deficiency. There is a minimum amount required for your horse to be able to function on a daily basis. And when we're starting in this place of deficient, we can't just give them enough to function on that day and expect them to be normal. We need to give them a loading dose where they're going to boost up that supply and then put them on a maintenance dose where it's enough to cover what they need to actually function. And let's delve into that deficiency idea just a little bit more. Because when something is deficient, your body's job, your horse's body's job, is to compensate for that. So I don't know where I was talking. I don't know if it was here, if it was on the podcast, somewhere recently. I know I went on a little bit of a tangent about, for example, when our bodies are acidic, when we've had too much milk, when we've had too much pop, not enough water, not enough fruits and vegetables, we create an acidic environment in our body. Acidic environments breed disease. Acidic environments breed cancer. Acidic environments breed mental health problems. Why? Because it creates an imbalance in the body. Your blood becomes too acidic, it can literally fucking kill you, okay? So when that happens, how does your body compensate? Well, friends, it takes calcium straight up out your bones to help bring down the acidity level, okay? And when that happens, you end up with osteoporosis. Osteoporosis isn't the problem, friends. It's the red flag. It's the flag on the play. And this can also come through as a mental health problem, an anxiety problem, a depression problem. All of these things are red flags. They're not the problem. Okay? Well, oftentimes people are diagnosing problems And those aren't the problems, they're actually symptoms of the problems. And anxiety in horses is a huge red flag. This isn't just my horse is anxious and it needs a Prozac. Because guess what? You're anxious, you don't need the Prozac or Xanax or whatever either. There's something that's driving your anxiety. Your anxiety is the warning flag. The anxiety in your horse is the warning flag. So the next thing to consider here when we're talking anxiety in your horses, I do want to focus on solutions, but I just want to point out that, again, we have to figure out where this is coming from. So a lot of times anxiety in horses and even in people comes from the fact that they are on overload, okay? And what I mean by that is their nervous system is hyped up. It's on overdrive. It's super sensitive. Why is it super sensitive? Well, there's multiple things going on here because no one is just one thing. Nobody is experiencing just one thing in any given moment. Your horse could have pain problems. And it doesn't have to be like they broke a bone and they're in pain and now they're anxious. No, that's usually not the case because at that point it's like an obvious problem. But it's their pain has been overlooked for a long period of time. That leads to anxiety because they can't trust you. They can't trust you because you don't understand what they're going through. And they keep saying, hey, I have a problem. And you're saying, get out there and do your job. And they're like, no, this hurts. You're like, get out there and do your job. Stop being naughty. That misunderstanding, that not being seen and heard, absolutely leads to anxiety. It absolutely does. And I just want you to think about that. I want you to think about that for yourself. How do you feel about going to your family holiday events? And then when you go, well, it's a little bit much, it's overwhelming, yeah, I guess you could say I get a little anxious about it, or even better, I take some Xanax before I go, or we're going to be drinking there, and that's how I get through it, or we're going to be, we're going to have some THC options, gummies, edibles, whatever, and that's how I get through it. When you have those things, red flags, friends, okay? Why do you feel that way? What is too much about going to your family holiday stuff? It's usually that you're not being seen and heard for who you are. You are in a place of being judged. You are not safe to be yourself. It is not different for our horses. Can they have fear of objects? Absolutely. There's a reason though behind it, right? And that's the whole point. It's like, is this just a generalized anxiety? And this is going to take some time to work through. There's probably some pain related. There could be some nutritional components to this. It could be environmental, as in we're in a new place. Like, what is it? We really get to narrow that down. So, with all that in mind, I'm going to give you some general solutions for anxious horses. One of them is absolutely nutritional testing. We need to make sure that they have all their bases covered. My preference for this is not through blood testing, okay? Because blood testing is going to give you more of an immediate picture of what's going on, not necessarily a long-term picture. And this long-term picture, they serve and limit, right? It's good to know where we stand right now, but when we look at the long-term picture, we can say, oh, but where we're standing right now is not where we've been for the last 3 months, and so maybe this behavior is about to change. Or maybe this behavior is changing because, the last 3 months, it's probably longer than that, but anyway, the last 3 months or whatever of our nutritional status has just changed. So is this why behavior has changed, or the sign that behavior is going to start to change because we're starting to meet nutritional needs? So my preference in this is actually hair testing. I do have a kind of referral to someone for that. If you're interested, you can just let me know and I will. Maybe I'll post it. I'll probably forget because there's stuff happening today. But anyways, if you need that, just let me know and I'll give you my reference for that. And then I also have a really cool client that has another reference for that I haven't personally used, but she sounds amazing too. So I can give you both options to reach out to somebody to just make sure your horse is on track. I think this is one of those, nutritional testing to me is one of those things that are the ounce of prevention that most people overlook, and then they're desperate for a pound of cure, right? But nutritional testing could save us a lot of time and money if we just went ahead and did it. So nutrition is definitely one solution for anxiety. Another solution for anxiety is getting your horse, first of all, saddle checks every 6 months. sounds excessive. It's not. Your horse changes a lot from 6-month period to 6-month period, especially if they're coming into work or going out of work or in and up and down in a position where they're training a lot more or a lot less. So getting your saddles checked is really important. Bridle, bit fit, equine dentist. Use your equine dentist, because what I'm trying to get you to understand here is we're addressing all the pain things, okay? So equine dentist, saddle fitter, get that checked. Equine massage therapist. I always start with massage, because if you're going to call in chiropractic, why would you want them coming in and adjusting a horse that has so much tension that it's pulling skeleton alignment off, okay? So like when I go see my chiropractor, he's giving me a little bit of a massage before he makes his adjustments. He feels my muscles, he gets the muscle to release, and then he adjusts. Even my human chiropractor does that, and it just makes sense. A lot of times we can create that full range of motion and release the tension with just massage, and then the skeletal structure goes back to the way it was, because the body is made to heal itself. All bodies are self-healing. We just have to create the environment for which they can thrive and heal themselves. All right, and so here's the big one. This is the big one that we're coming around to. Emotional regulation. First of all, for yourself. Emotional regulation for yourself. I cannot tell you the number of times I have been called out to work on a horse because they're trying to address a pain problem, and the horse has really bad anxiety. Whenever someone says that to me, like I go out to meet their horse and they tell me they're just really anxious, that's the tone. They're just really anxious, and we're going to be really careful, and we're going to try our best, but they're just really anxious, and they might have a problem. You hear that? Do you hear that? That's how the person is talking to me. That's how they're vibrating on the inside, and that's what's coming out of them. And then they wonder why their horse is also like, ah, ah. We are energetic beings. And I think, maybe you've heard me talk about this before. I've definitely talked about it with Leanne on the podcast. First of all, our energetic bodies go out, way out, okay? Way out around us, 20 plus some feet, okay? That's our energetic body. Our horses are even further than that. Horses have a much larger electromagnetic field around them than any other animal on the planet. So, when you are in range of holding the lead rope, you guys are fully enmeshed in each other's energy. And unless you are very intentional, very careful, and very practiced, that's meshing, and you probably don't notice that you're meshing. So you don't notice that you're picking up on your horse's vibe, and that your horse is picking up on your vibe. Most people out there, they don't even know what their own vibe is. You may not recognize what your own vibe is all the time because you're not thinking about it. And awareness is key. If you're not aware, how could you know? How could you know if you weren't even aware, right? So emotional regulation in yourself is a powerful tool to address your horse's anxiety. Because when we are teaching a horse emotional regulation, one of the best things we could do is just let them know that we see them. But if we can't see ourselves, if we can't be aware of ourselves, how can we possibly be aware of our horses on a level deep enough to be able to convey to them that they are seen and heard? Because we are not even seeing and hearing ourselves. So emotional regulation within yourself is a huge skill set for addressing the anxiety of your horse. And all right, so how? Why? What are you talking about? Okay, let me tell you. We're going to go there. This is one of those things that, for me as a therapist, I really picked it up. I mean, I had already done my emotional regulation work. It's never done, okay? I'd already done a lot of it, though, and learned and become more aware of myself. And that's when I started to see more range of emotion in horses and smaller indicators of how they were really thinking and feeling in a certain moment. And so when I started to apply this to my massage practice, I started to pick up on the most minute details that would make me either back off or move more forward or change directions entirely and see what the horse really needed in that, okay? So, for example, I have been working on a horse. He's a new horse to me. I've worked with his people before, but he's a new horse to me, and He's super sweet. He reminds me very much of my Cash boy. They're just very loving and they just want to be in your face and they're gelding. So they're just like, oh, let's play, let's play. As soon as I start working on him, his entire demeanor changed. And I was telling his owners that he is a challenge for me. One, and I'm not saying this, he's not being naughty, guys. So preface, he is not being naughty. He is a teacher. I'm very grateful to him and his humans for allowing me to learn from him. But when I work on him, he kicks, he tries to bite, and he throws his head. And sometimes that little throw of his head turns into a tiny little rear. And I was expressing to his owners, like, he's challenging me because I'm not getting clear communication from him. And what I feel from him is that he doesn't even know what to do. Like, he just doesn't know how to cope. And I think we found the solution for him, and it was partial nutritional deficiency and also some past history stuff where he just has some inflammation, particularly in his nervous system, that is causing certain areas of his body to be very much activated and turned on all the time. But I am a person who triggers this in him because I come in and I say, let's loosen up your body. And he's like, oh, I don't know how, I don't want to. Right? So for me, I create an anxiety in him. What is extra important is that I back off when he starts to react. And also, I check myself. I make sure that I am breathing in a way that is calm and relaxing. And then I take breaks and I come to him and I say, hey man, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to help you, right? And so we keep this balance between working in areas that stress him out and working in areas that bring him peace. And again, really coming back to myself every so often, backing away, getting into my own space a little bit and breathing, because it is so easy for us as people. We need to recognize that it is human nature to be self-centered. It is human nature to bring things back to ourselves and be like, this is my fault. It's my fault. It's on me. They don't like me. I'm the problem. It's me. When really, it's not. So especially when you're working with a horse, we get to take these moments where we just get to check out and bring our energy back into ourselves and really focus internally to be able to recognize that this isn't about us. We get to make sure that we are reading and understanding and taking that time and to really give the horse space to be understood, but also not making it about us, right? So for me to not be like, why am I not good enough for this horse? Why is he reacting this way? These people are going to hate me. They think that I'm probably causing him pain. They never thought that. That was never my intention. It's just my point is that we always tend to do that. This is a human nature kind of thing. And so when we are not skilled in emotional regulation, this can directly impact our experience. There is a past version of me that would have approached this horse and not known what to do with it and not ended up serving the horse. I would have been like, I don't know. I can't do this. This is not for me. Instead of being like where I am today, where I'm like, I see we have a lot going on here. I'm going to do as much as I can for him while keeping him comfortable and trying to keep him below his threshold. And we're going to do as much as we can. And whatever I can't do with my hands, I'm going to apply some energetic work because I know that it will serve him. We're also going to look into all these other situations with nutrition that might be impacting him. And we're going to try and create a situation that really supports him. Because that's what I'm here to do. So when you are working with your personal horses, and maybe you're not approaching all of the things that I approach as a professional, it's important to remember to take that time to step back. Your horse is not personally attacking you. And if they are, you probably deserve it. Okay? Because we've all fucked up. We've all had those moments where we didn't realize that our horse was telling us something. Oh my gosh, best story on that ever. And we're getting frustrated. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, yeah, that was my fault. But instead of beating myself up over it or making a big deal out of it, I've already regulated myself down and been like, silly, my bad. And then we're able to move forward with apologies and gratitude for the horse's patience, right? All of this that I'm talking about, that I can barely cram into 20 minutes, this is the stuff. This is the stuff of Equine Alchemy. This is Equine Alchemy, because what is alchemy? Alchemy is transformation. It is taking one thing and turning it into another. So it's taking our own self-doubt and turning it into our superpower. It is taking our horse's anxiety and transforming it into confidence. It is taking what we are given in the moment, breathing through it, and creating absolute pure fucking magic with it through connection with our horses, for better connection, for deeper felt magic, for the results that we all want, which is that 10-year-old fairy tale little girl where she just has this beautiful connection with her horse and they just know what each other's thinking all the time, and they have fucking cookies in the middle of the forest and it's beautiful, and they also don't have winter and they don't have to deal with mud and shit too. She gets to wear her little ballerina flats and her little nightgown. Right? So that's what we're doing inside Equine Alchemy. We are talking about energy work. We are talking about emotional regulation for ourselves and how that creates emotional regulation within our horses and how we can apply that to create the relationship of our dreams with our horses, and also to activate our own inner magic and to value who we are and what we have to offer for not just our horses, but all of the people around us in our lives too. That's what it's about. So if you haven't got your ticket yet, we start tonight. Tonight's the night, bitches. Equine Alchemy starts tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are already in the group, the information is available to you in the vault, so you can go check that out, and I will be sending an email out so nobody misses the link. We will be live on Zoom tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. So, as per usual, I'm going to drop a link in the comments below here, and you guys can grab your tickets. There's still time to join. If you join today before we go live at 7 p.m. Eastern, you can get the early bird pricing. If you miss out and you don't make it and you don't get your ticket before then, the price goes up to our standard pricing of $297. So you're going to want to grab it today. I'm going to copy the link. I swear I am. Here it is. Okay. Putting it in the comments. There you go. I hope to see you tonight. We're going to do our opening ceremony, create some real fucking magic, and I will talk to you next Tuesday.